name is Vicky. I work at MMS Advocate, and today we're going to talk about company voluntary arrangements. And so my colleague Felicia will be asking me questions on it. Yeah.
Thank you, Vicky. Let's start with the meaning. What is a company voluntary arrangement?
So a company voluntary arrangement is where the company comes together, the board of directors comes together and looks for a way, makes a proposal on how to pay off the debts that it has to the creditors. So it makes a proposal to the creditors on how to best be able to pay off their debts in a way that will not affect the rest of the company, in a way that will not affect the running of the company. Yeah.
How is this different from administration or liquidation?
Well, so for liquidation and administration, there is another entity or another person that is put in charge of running the process. But for this one, it's the board of directors. Mostly, it's the board of directors that comes into place and decides on how to go about this process. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And who can institute a company voluntary arrangement?
So it's mostly done by the board of directors. They're the ones who have a meeting and come up with a proposal. So they're the ones who institute it. But also a company under administration or a company under liquidation could go through this process, could come up with a proposal and go through the process. But now in those instances, it is done by the liquidator and by the administrator respectively. Yeah.
Okay. And what is the process of instituting a company voluntary arrangement?
First of all, the board of directors, as we have said, the board of directors comes together, they have a meeting, and they come up with a proposal about it. And so the proposal generally includes the state of the company at that moment, or the financial statement of the company. It includes how they would want the creditors how they would want to work with the creditors. So, for example, if they're proposing to push to increase the period of payment of the debt of certain creditors, or they're proposing a compromise where, yes, to a certain creditor, probably the company owes a certain creditor, let's say 1 million. So the company proposes to the creditor, says, hey, we're at a bad place. We would really appreciate it if we could agree that we pay you off probably 900,000 in full and final settlement of that debt. And so those are some of the proposals that they come up with. So it's either pushing the tenure or to restructure the debt. So if a debt was supposed to be paid off probably in 1 year, pushing it to probably 2 years or something. So those are some of the proposals. Those are some of the things that the proposal contains. So they come up with that proposal, and they also include, part of it is to include their turnover optimization strategy. This just means that, the company does not want to keep on finding itself in this position where it has to keep on negotiating with the creditors. And so the company also has to propose, the board of directors has to propose how to go about it. So we're only doing this now. So we are working in future. We will optimize our turnaround strategy. We will work on how to ensure that we are paying debts on time. We have the money coming in on time and all those kinds of things. So these are some of the things that are included in the proposal. So after they come up with that proposal, they should appoint a supervisor. So the supervisor is an insolvency practitioner. Has to be an insolvency practitioner. So this insolvency practitioner is one that will take the proposal, look at it, and just consider, is this viable? Is this workable? And so if it is, then it is lodged in court. The supervisor would go to court and say that, yes, I have gone through this document. This certain company wants to have a CVA, and so I have gone through their proposal, and it is viable, so we could make it work. And so after they do that, they then come back to the creditors. So the supervisor is the one that will call a meeting of the creditors. All the creditors in their different groups. We have secured creditors, we have preferential creditors, and we have unsecured creditors. So the supervisor will call them all together and have a meeting, set a date for a meeting. And on that date of the meeting that they have set, the creditors will elect one of their own to chair the meeting. So once they chair the meeting, the three groups, the different groups, are able to sit down together and look at the proposal and see, does this work for them? Are they agreeable with it? And if they are, then it is passed. Each group then passes So a proposal is considered passed when a majority of the creditors actually approves it. So when a majority of the creditors, both in number and in value, so if the secured creditors approve it, a majority of them who are owed the biggest debt, when they approve it, then it's passed. Then the same thing with the preferential creditors and the same thing with the unsecured creditors. So that is how it is passed. Yeah.
Okay, so to wrap up, what are the advantages and disadvantages of CVAs?
So mostly the biggest advantage of a CVA is that it really allows the company to still remain on its feet. So the directors are still the ones in charge of the company when it's the board of directors that calls the meeting, and it really allows the company to remain on its feet such that it's not closing down then starting again. So that's one of the main benefits. And then you could, if it's a small business, you could apply for a moratorium for a short period of time. And also, but now some of the disadvantages are that there's no statutory moratorium like in administration, and so the company can still be sued. And also the fact that it could also, if you don't go, like you only have one chance at this. So if you pass it up, then you cannot go through a CVA again. Yeah.
Thank you, Vicky.